In today's video, we will learn about a note application, something like this. So where you can give our title, I'm going to select a color, then just add it. As part of this learning, we'll use a React library, component library called UIKit. It has many predefined, pre-built components. Yeah, we can see all the list here. Then we'll use Bun. Bun is a JavaScript runtime environment like Node.js. Uh, at this time, it is claiming to be the fastest JavaScript environment. You can see the performance result here, comparison to Dino and Node.js. Next, we'll use tRPC. tRPC is a full stack library that will use to validate our server endpoints. So if you see, this is small example here, where you can, this is the server code, this is the client code. So any changes happening to the request body, that is erroring out in the client side, right? Then we'll use stack React query for fetching our data. It has many other benefits like caching and synchronizing and all. So we can use something like this, a small example here. So we'll have our application, then you can use the stack client and then fetch the data like this. And the final library that will use Jod. Jod is a schema validation library, so which will use to validate our data, like request, body, and other data. Now let's install Bun. So here is the command that you can install Bun using the script Bun is providing. Let's copy this, install. So let's say source. Yeah, now it is installed. So we'll use white to create the React application. We have already installed Bun. So let's copy the command and go here to say white dot. We'll use React, let's say Bun install. Yeah, done. So you see, we have got a bun.log file, like similar to packet.json.log, and then we have the node modules. So bun is also using the similar directory like node modules, like node.js. So don't be like confused that if you see this directory, because both are both are using similar directory names. Yeah, just let's start. So we'll bun dev. This will just copy this and go to our browser and see. Yeah, so now our application setup is ready. This is initial setup. Now we will install the other libraries and we'll get started. Okay, so first of all, we'll make some changes in the directory structure. So as you see, we have the default code in src. So first of all, we'll move this code. We'll have another directory here, client. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll move all the code, client related code, to the specific client directory. Let's pull it and post here. Yeah. Okay, source client. Okay. Yeah, this is fixed. So you should verify. Okay, yeah, application is running fine. Yeah, so then let's create few more directories inside src, like our server, then common. Okay, so for now let's add some dummy file, index.ts. We'll update the common directory as we move on to, yeah, now let's add these directories paths to our tsconfig path. So here we can add another paths. So you'll see how the benefit of this. So file importing from common to server and other things, like while importing a child directory. Now let's add the packages that we needed for our application. We say bun add, we'll use emotion css. Okay, let's add all bun add the core package, UI kit package. Then you will use dance stack react query, then use tRPC client, then we'll use tRPC react query, then use tRPC server, and we'll use jot. And finally we missed one more, so this will be tRPC bun adapter. Okay, create a component directory, and we'll our note. Okay, let's say node dot t6 and see. Let's go to dot tsx. Let's remove all this. We don't need, actually. We don't need this. Okay, let's say not import. I don't need this. Clean up. I don't need this. React logo and white logo. We'll remove this. Remove this as well. Clean up. So only not 100%. We'll make it variant as, let's see the variant. We can have variant as primary. Color code I think is not required. Color also don't need this. Play. Okay, so now let's create the interface for the node. We will add types, and then the node interface, let's say export type, let's say inode. We will have ID, then we'll have a title string, then we'll have content. This should be a optional field. Let's make the content as optional. Then we'll have another field as color. Okay, let's also make this as optional. That is it. Yeah, so previously we had added a very basic button into that, and just for verifying, and now let's add the actual the implementation. So basically this node component will have two inputs. One is the title and another is the content. Then it will have few actions, as you can see. So like this, in the right side we'll have a title and the content of the node, and then we'll have cancel and the color selector. Okay, let's make the changes to match this. Okay, div title. So here we'll not be using inputs, but instead we'll be using divs, but it will be editable content. Save it. Yeah, and let's make it content editable, and for content also content editable. Save it. Now if you can edit this. Okay, now let's define our state to persist this change. Const, let's say note, and set note, and we'll make it as by default as undefined empty. Import our, okay, yes, and this will be of inode type. So when this particular input, I mean the diff changes, user input provide any value, we have to set the state. So we say on input. Okay, it will take an event, and then we'll say set note. Okay, so we'll get the previous state, and then we'll append title into that, just like this. Title is event dot target dot text content, something like this. So the error says that this content doesn't exist on event target. So let's keep it as HTML div element. Okay, you can say as empty, because title is a required field, that's why we have to pass as empty string. Let's format it. Okay, nice. We can do the same thing for the content. Okay, let's add some styles. Okay, first let's define the two classes. One will be styles Then let's say note and we will add that class here for for both the inputs, right? Class name, done. Let's save it, and this is done. Okay, now this is the default text is appearing here, but when you remove these two values, it's looking like empty. As div doesn't support a placeholder, so we will use CSS styles to add a content placeholder here. Okay, so we will say data placeholder is title. Okay, and then we'll say here data placeholder as content. Okay, and then we'll add the CSS here. Okay, so we'll say empty. We'll select the empty div, then we'll add a before selector, and we'll take the content from the data attribute. Okay, and it is a data placeholder here for this case, and we'll add the theme color here. Let's import the theme. Okay, now let's save it, and as you can see the placeholders are loading properly, and when I just type, the placeholder will hide like native inputs, and again when I remove, it will appear. So this is working fine, and let's add some style to the inputs here. So I will add for title, will font weight bold, and we'll increase the size of the font a little bit, not 1, maybe 1.1, 1.1. Yeah, this looks much better. Okay, next what we'll do, so we want to show the title only while the page is loading. So when the page is loading, we have to show only the title. Then once the user focus on the title component, it will expand. So by default, it should be collapsed. Okay, to make that, let's have another state expanded. Okay, expanded and expanded. So we'll update expanded title. We'll say take a note. Okay, and so by default, when it is not expanded, it should not be visible, right? So we'll move that move the content um inside. Okay, and 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 now when we focus on this title, so we have to set the expand. Okay, on focus, set expand as true. Let's not keep anything for now. Let's keep it empty. Okay, so when take a note and click It should be title, and again let's change the placeholder for the content also. So it will be, it doesn't need to be, so I think let's make this as take a note. Okay, so initially take a note will be here. Once you click, it will switch, right, like this. Okay, now let's add the note actions component. So let actions set that note actions dot tsx. Okay, export for note actions, done. So now we have to import this in the, let's save it first. Okay, import note actions here. Okay, note actions from note actions, and now we have to add that note actions here. Okay, say note actions. Okay, cool. Let's save it. Yeah, it is loaded. Again, this note actions actually it should be visible only when we are expanding the note, right? And save. Yeah, now it is gone. Oh yeah, now we can see note actions only visible when uh, we are focusing on the note, right? Okay. Now let's update the remaining add the things here. So we'll have a cancel button, one add button, and remaining color selector. Okay, for this purpose, we'll use the action bar, SB action bar that UI kit is providing. We'll need something like this. Okay, so code. Okay, copy and paste it. Save it. Now let's go. Okay, we have cancel and reset. We don't need actually, so we need something like cancel and add. So you say cancel, and also it will be secondary host. Okay, now you have to add a color selector here. So you'll use the UI kit color picker. Okay, so something like this. Okay, so is only icon only. So we'll select only this one. Okay, so let's copy this and paste it here and import. Just select all and format and save. Okay, we don't need the label here. Let's remove the label. We need only color picker. Okay, and I think we should restrict to few colors only, like this. Okay, recommended colors, so that our look and feel we can control. First of all, let's move this color selector to the left side here. Flex equal to 1. and this is done. It is aligning to the left and these are to the right. This is solving our issue. Now let's give the recommended colors only and remove the remaining things from the color picker. I am right. So you can pass recommended colors like this as a props. And first of all, let's remove this recommended colors. We don't need the placeholder. Yeah, that is fine. So we'll say recommended colors. Let's define a constant, right? Let's define a constant. Let's say configs. Okay. Say colors dot ts. Export const recommended colors. So we'll have a list of colors. So I have actually have some recommended colors ready. I'll just use them. Configure prettier, okay. And addition to that, we'll have a empty string here actually here. Why? So this will use to reset the color. So suppose you just select some color and they want to reset. So we'll provide this option to reset. So let's import recommended colors, client config colors, fine, recommended colors. Let's save this. There is some issue with the I think the problem here is why it is not recognizing the path that we have defined here. So for that we have to add white aliases, or else what we can do, we can use this plugin actually. And this would be a dev dependency, not the dependency. Okay, now go to be white config, import ts config paths, and copy this and load this plugin and save it. I think this should work. And let's go. Yep, this is done. Cool. Okay, so the issue is fixed. So now the component is loading properly. So here now I think still we have to remove the custom colors from here. So custom colors false. Yeah, correct. Okay, let's add the props here. Okay, so it will take a value, then one on change. Okay, so value type will be value will be string. Okay, and on change it will be a event, right? string. Height. Okay, and here the value will be value, and on change will be on change. Yeah, you can say select node color. Okay, now also we'll update our node actions in the node. So let's pass value as node dot color, and on change we have to set the value, right? So we say v set node. I have to take the previous value and set the value as like this. And color equal to v. What is this? Okay, the value is a required field. Okay. I think we can set a default value. Maybe we can say it was empty. Initially, there is no color selected, and save. Okay, now let's add the functionality for this add and cancel button. So when we click cancel, it should collapse back to this view, and add button should when I click it, it should submit a note for either creation or updating the note, and should be disabled when the title is empty. Note set note action props, and we can say, and let's paste it here. Note action props, and on cancel, yes. So when you click it, on click, say on cancel simply, and when we cancel it on cancel, we have to expand false. Okay, done. Let's check. Yeah. So now our expand and collapse is working fine. Now let's add the validation for the add button. So initially when the title is empty, this add button should be disabled, right? So let's pass a, okay, now for that, so what we will do, we will take another prop as disabled. Okay, so this should be placed here, disabled when it is disabled. Okay, okay, we haven't added the props, fine, and we have to say our note actions are to pass as disabled. So we'll say is valid note. If it is a valid note, this should be a boolean. If it not valid note, simply it should be disabled, right? And how maybe we can say const is valid note when uh, note dot title. Yeah, this is the correct condition. Just save it, and here also save it. Yeah, and see the R button is disabled now. As soon as we type any value, so it should be enabled. See, this is switching. Now it is disabled. I type, it's enabled. I can click it. And we will take another prop here on submit. So should be a, this should take a value. Let's it will be note of I note, so on click of this add button, on click will submit, on submit. Let's have this on submit here. Okay, on submit off. So we have to pass the data. Sorry, use format. Okay, yeah, we have to pass. So when on submit, so we have to pass the data in the submit function, something like this. Okay, and here it should have on submit note. We'll add. Okay, for now, let's just add a console log here. Console log. So we'll replace this the actual logic, like we make a HTTP request once that is submitted later. Okay. So we'll have a handler here. Maybe we can add it const on submit, or let's can say handle submit, and replace this one here. Okay, handle submit, and it should have right note. This note is already there, data and date. Okay, this should be type I note, right? Cool. And but how do we submit the question now? Because we don't have note here. We can just say submit because we have the reference to note here in the parent element, right? For now, let's just submit empty data, and we'll come back to this, right? We can say like this. For now, let's not take. This will be just an action for now. Yeah, we have to update few things like on change. This is looking very generic actually, but this is action component. When I say on change, maybe we can say it actually on color change. On color change all occurrences. On color change. Nice. Okay. Then we can paste it here. No, this should be on change. Cool. On color change. Now let's save it. Okay. So now let's verify our submit functionality. We'll open our DevTools and see. We put it at the bottom. And let's title, note, select a color, and add. Okay, I think something behind that. Why the title is not. Oh, here is our input. Oh, we haven't changed this to. This should be content, right? Not cool. So our values are here. So we have the color selected and content and the title. Okay, now let's handle the different actions here. So what we will do, we will put all our logic like CRUD logic into a separate hook. Let's say use note.ts and const use note. Okay, and we'll export this default use note. Okay, so here we have few things like one is create note, title, and the content. Okay, or simply we can say instead we have, because we have the iNote interface, let's use that. Import type iNote. Okay, and we can say, because we are creating it, so iNote, it will be handle note creation logic. For now we'll just say simply log, but this will have ID, title, content, and color. But of creation generally will not have ID, right? So what we'll say, we'll omit ID actually from here. Omit, but expecting only the remaining data. Okay. And for update, similarly, we'll have the update, delete note ID, correct, and deleting note ID. And we'll export this, create note, sorry, not export, return. So our hook will look like this. Let's format the file. Nice. So here for the node application, node component, basically what we have planned is like this component will be used for both creation as well as edit. Like when you add a node here, you can then it will show all the tiles here, right? The tile structure. There we can use the same component for editing the component inline editing. For that, so to support that, we have to make sure that this um, node component gets state from the other parent component. So we will have something like a data here. Okay, and this data will be kind of it's node. So let's interface is our define our props, and our data will be node type, right? But when it is in the create mode, there will be no ID, and for the edit mode, there will be ID, right? First of all, let's set the initialize the node with data. So we'll use effect if data, we'll just set it. We don't need a else condition here. Okay, I will say simply data. Okay, let's use our props here. Okay, then on submit, so here instead of that we'll use our hook, right, that we have created. Use note, this is our hook, and we have to say create note, update note, right? Logic will be here. Instead we say if node.id, okay, for now let's just create, do like this. So if there is no ID in the node, that means we are creating the node, right? So if the ID is present, that means the node is already created and we are just trying to update it. That will be our logic. And let's save it. Okay. And let's open the console. Let's clear it. And title and domain data, I'll select color and art. Yeah, it is saying it's creating the node. Okay, because there is no ID. But for verification, let's say I will pass data manually. I say ID is a string and title is my note, then say content, sorry, I put equal sign. Okay, for now let's put it, and suppose we save it. Okay, I think we're not binding the values in the node component. Where, yeah, here. So we have to give the values here. So let's data dot title and data dot content. Okay, yeah, fine. Now when I save this, when I try to add, it should not be add actually, but should be update. It should change. Let's also do that to do that in our, so we'll have to, in note actions we have to say if it is add or update. So something we have to ID. If it is edit, then update or create, or we say add, or we say save. Okay, instead of we say is edit, it should look sound good. If it is edit, then we'll save it. So we'll take another default as false. Okay, and we say is edit is a boolean field. Okay, and we pass that here is edit. Yeah, so simply we can say if it is id, if the id is present and we are making it as a boolean value, then it is edit mode. Let's save this. Yeah, now our label got changed here. Now when I click this, it should say that updating the note, right? Yeah, so we have the console here. Now we'll do one more thing. So when I'm creating a note, simply let's clear the this inputs. Okay, then okay, first of all I'll remove this for now. Okay, when I say new note, my new note, add, when I add this should be clear, right? Let's add that here. Create note, set note, and set it as empty. Okay, let's verify. Okay, I think this is not reflecting. Fine, let's fix this. So we have to handle this little bit differently. So we will take help of ref here. So we say we'll take two refs. One is title ref. Okay, and we say use ref null. Okay, the initial value we'll keep it as null, and another we'll say content ref null. This will be type HTML div element. Okay, and same thing we can do it for title, and we'll have a reset method which will reset our note. So if title ref dot current title ref dot current dot inner HTML it equals data, will first initialize with the data the title or empty string. Why? Because when we want to reset, for now I think let's keep it. Let's come back to this later. This will be this will be for the edit mode, but for now we'll keep. And again, if same thing for if content ref dot current, we'll reset it. Content ref dot current dot inner HTML equals to empty, and we instead of that we set and we say reset. Okay, and we'll add the ref here. ref equal to title ref, and here ref equal to content ref. Let's save it. And cool. So we got the log, and this is resetting. Okay. Now let's move to the backend, and we'll update our code operations. Let's add this logic. To have that, first let's define our endpoints. Let's go to server and update, add a Bun server here. So for that, let's uh, use sample code here like this. So this is basically creating a server, local server, running on port 3000. Okay, and the base URL will be something like it is a text. It will show a text, and then we are adding a API. Maybe we say nodes. Okay, and it will send us nodes. For now, let's say nodes as empty. Okay, let's say I node, and we have to install the Bun types. Now let's go to the terminal and say Bun r minus t types slash Bun. Let's save this, and we'll add, and let's go to our package.json. Now we're having only the client, say we say dev client. Okay, and this one will say dev server, say Bun run src the server dot text dot ts, and we'll watch okay, comma, maybe you can say watch. Watch is like it will live reload your changes. Can let's say Bun dev server. Okay, so it says listening on localhost 3000, and let's so when you change something, console.log running, I should automatically reload the, sorry, reload the server. See, running, yes, it got executed. For now, let's remove this code. Okay, and if you go to localhost 3000, yeah, it's working. Then next we'll define our routes. So we have installed tRPC server, and then we'll define our uh, tRPC endpoints. Okay, so let's verify our other endpoint through Postman. So here we have just created a collection nodes, and let's add a uh, base URL. Okay, so localhost TTP localhost 3000. This will be our base URL, and then we say base URL slash API slash nodes. It should, I think, it should highlight. Okay, you have to give double curly braces. Okay, fine. Now send. Something is wrong. We have a API nodes, right? Mm, what could be the problem? Localhost 3000. Let's get it here. Okay. Localhost 3000 slash API slash nodes. It is coming here, but why it is not coming there? Strange. I guess it's correct, right? Localhost 3000. Yes. Just copy this. We'll make another request, new HTTP request. Just paste it. God, it's coming. What is the problem? Did I do anything wrong or what? Hmm? Yeah. Headers, 7 headers. Not sure if it is coming here. Okay, anyway, our endpoint is working fine. I'll check this later. Why this is not working? For example, if I change this to base URL, Okay, this is not inside that collection. Just for checking, will do. This is working fine. Okay, here is a extra bracket. Arey yaar, silly mistakes I'm doing. Yeah, now my API is working. Yes, we don't need that. Okay, so let's close this. This. Okay, now let's go to our code. We don't need this one. Okay, this is our. Now we will add one more, like we'll add the routes and then the DB operations, right? DB transactions. So for now we'll not be using the real DB, but we will do the memory in memory data for our example. So just keep a file db.ts and our initial data. So we'll say notes. Maybe we can say notes as empty string. This will be, sorry, empty list. This will be inode list. And then we'll export const db. For this will be our interface for like making db operations. For node we'll have multiple. We say find many make async will return nodes. Okay, then find by id. Okay, again async we say id. Actually we don't need async here, we can simply I think skip because we're not doing anything. Await, not required. We say nodes dot find. Okay, node dot id. So id. Okay, then insert. Here we'll say data and we say inode. Or for inserting we don't have to pass the id actually. So in that case, so we'll say omit id. Okay, but what we'll do, we will create a node. Okay, so we will say id, we'll have to generate the id, right? So you will say new, just will get a new id. as a UUID. Okay, you can use it. Uh, Bun, how to generate a UUID. Okay. Yeah, so you can use crypto, right? I think this is available by default. Do we have crypto? Yes, crypto dot random UUID. Cool. Now we'll say data. Whatever data it is coming from, we'll simply keep it. Okay. Then we'll push it. Notes dot fish not. And we'll return the inserted value here. Return not. Okay. Let's save it. Then next will be update. Here we will take two parameters. One will be ID string and then another will be data. Okay, data will be I note. Okay. No, this is not I note. It will be again same. Uh, Omit the ID, omitting the ID. So we have to find the ID. You have to find the node. Then we have to say this data. Okay, update. Then so we have to say, let's say nodes dot for each. Okay, node index will get something like this. Then say if node dot id equal to id dot title equals to data dot title. Okay, and node dot content equals to data dot content. Node dot colors. Okay, but like this, how we are returning here the node. Actually, I wanted to return the updated value. So we can so updated node, something like this. To make this, so let's make let updated node. I will make it as undefined in by default. So here I say updated node equals. So instead of this going by field, I can say just data like this, because we are expecting the field should be same, naming should be field names should be same. Then I will say ID. Why? So instead of that doing, I will say nodes of index, because we are at a particular index, we have the I here. Simply we can say updated node. I think this will update the particular index, and then we don't need all this. Yeah, sorry, we have to add that condition if node dot id equals to id. We have to move this one inside, right? And we don't have to come here, we can simply return it here, so that we can skip the remaining loop. Sounds good. Okay, then finally we have to delete. Okay, so it will be again id will be a string. Simply we say nodes equals nodes dot filter node dot id not equals id, right? Yeah, it is a constant, so let's make it there. Okay, sounds good. So we have defined our interface. So we have find many, so where we'll get all the uh, nodes, and find by id, insert and update. These are basic CRUD operations we are adding. We can enhance this at any point, but for our example this is more than sufficient. Okay, now we have our DB. Let's define our routes. Okay, and we will initialize tRPC here. Let's say tRPC dot ts, and we'll import init tRPC from tRPC server. So let's say const t equal to init tRPC dot create. Okay, and we'll export this. Export const router t dot router. Okay, and export const public procedure t dot procedure. Okay, and we'll use this in our we'll use this both for our defining our routes. Okay, let's save this, and we don't need actually now this one. You can plus close it, and this one come to here. So first of all we import both of this, import router and public procedure. Okay, now define our export const app router, and we need to uh, use the router that we have imported. Let's say router, and then define our endpoints. First we will define the node list. Okay, and we'll say public procedure dot query and provide a async I don't need async because we have our we removed async in our DB. I think this should be simply the const notes, or you can simply return. Actually, we have to import our DB, so we forgot to import DB. Okay, DB dot note. No, not DB dot note. Yeah, DB dot note dot find menu. Right. Simply you can return like this. Okay. Then we'll add create for just verifying, so that we can verify both of the endpoints. Node create, then again public procedure, will define our inputs actually, not input. Here we have to define our input schema actually. So for creating a node, we'll take the node title, then node content and node color. Will not have the node ID. Okay. So our input will be, so we'll use the jod schema here. So input charge from jod. Okay. So input will be g dot title is a g dot string dot optional, then content g dot string. No, this is, sorry, this was not optional. Title will be not be optional actually, so we have to remove this, and we say, sorry, g dot object. Okay, this looks correct. And the color again, it should be optional, right? Create, nice. Then we'll say we have defined our input, right? Then say mutation. So this is a mutation request. So we will have our input. Okay. And we say const note equal to db dot note dot insert. Okay, we'll pass the input here. Cool. Or else we can say new node, and we insert that again to the node list. Okay. Or else you have already inserted, simply we will return new node. Cool. Import create bun serve handler from tRPC bun adapter. Okay, so this will be our This will create our tRPC endpoint. So instead of that, what we say, const server is serve, okay, and in that we'll pass the adapter here. This is a kind of wrapper on top of the burn server handler, okay, like this we are passing this part, so this is kind of a wrapper here. So this will take a configuration, say endpoint, which is /tRPC, okay, and router, it will be app router, don't know this. Then we define our response meta, will return status 200. Let's refer this actually tRPC bun adapter. Here is the example. Okay, basically we need something like this, okay, header, okay, yeah, let's copy this actually, paste it, okay. Okay, now let's add the update route here. Update, for update it will take two request fields. One is the ID that we want to update, okay, and then another will be, so it will take a object, first field will be ID, which is string, okay. So this will be the ID that we'll supposed to the we supposed to update. Then it will take another thing, data. So data will be same to like similar to the input that we define for creating the node. Now let's refactor. Okay, what is the error? Okay, yeah. Then we say dot, no, not here, double down mutation, okay. So this will be, and take another function, it will be input, we create we have, we say updated node, updated note equal to db dot note dot update. So we have defined a update method, and then we pass here. As you can see, you can pass two arguments. One is id, that we got input dot id and input dot data, right? And updated note. So then we simply return updated note. Okay, nice. So this is done. Let's format this and then save. Then last will be delete, right? Or delete route. Sorry, note delete. As for the naming that we are giving for others, we say public procedure dot input. It will take a string. Okay, as input dot mutation will take a function as input. So we have the db dot note dot delete, right? So you have to pass the input dot id. Yeah, actually it should be input, right? Yeah, format. So basically our routing is here defined. We'll make a small refactoring here. So because like as you can see, we are using same like schema for the create and update, right? So if we can reuse this code, so we can define a const create or update body, and then you can copy this code, put it here, right? Can format. Simply we can reuse this for this one here as well as here. Saved. Okay, so now we have our routing endpoints, I mean API endpoints ready. Let's quickly verify it. So we'll be using Postman. So I have defined few like request here for our verification. First we'll be fetching the all the nodes. So our request URL will be like this. So localhost 3000, our host, and then tRPC, our base URL, then our the last endpoint, request endpoint, request path, like node list for fetching all the list available. Let's hit it. So the response is something like this. So as we don't have any node created, so it is empty. Let's create a node. So we can select this one, create node. Let's pass something. For create node, we don't have to pass the ID. So only we will pass the note here. So we will say title, it will be JSON data, so you have to keep in the double quotes. So this suppose my first note, okay, content, again it should be in the double quote, content should be hello everyone, this is my first note, okay, and I think that's it. So let's hit it, and it should give me a note with ID, because ID you are creating dynamically, the UUID. Let's try it. Okay, it says note create is not found. Why it is like that? Okay, let's go to our routes. Note create. Is there? Sorry, it's a typo here. So we have to say note. Send. Yeah, as you see, you have got the ID and the title and content. So again, let's go back to the get nodes, and if we hit, you get the result. It's a list of note. Okay. Now let's try to update, and finally we will delete it. So here it should be note update. Sorry. No, note update. The body will be, let's copy our ID. So we will use this ID to update our note, and then we will pass. Suppose we want to update the content. So I will copy this, and I will append something actually. So sorry, content is just a string. Sorry, it should be in the double quotes, and I say thank you. Okay. So you have to remember that this is an update request, not a patch request. So whatever we send in the data, it will replace the complete uh, record. So you have to, for that we have to pass the title, because title is a required field, we cannot skip it. So let's keep the title as same. Let's copy it, keep the same title, but we'll update the only content. Okay, now let's trigger. As you can see, so this got updated and got the new content. Then go to get nodes, we should get the updated note here, as you can see. So we got the updated note. Finally let's delete the note. So again, for deleting, we'll delete note, delete endpoint, and have to pass the ID. So we can copy the same ID here, and delete and pass it and trigger. You see, this is got, and there is no result because you're not returning anything for delete. And finally, when you go to the delete get all, you should see empty data. So finally, we got it got deleted. Okay, so we have our routes endpoints are ready. Then now, and we have already verified our endpoints using Postman. So now it's time to make the add the code for the client to make the queries from the component. For that, let's go and create a directory called API. So here we will configure the tRPC client. Create tRPC dot ts. Cool. And here we will import few things like we have already installed it, our tRPC client. From that we will import http batch link. Okay, then create tRPC react. Yeah, because we'll actually use react query. Okay, and then we import query client again from stack react query. Okay, then we have to create the tRPC instance. So we say const tRPC equal to create tRPC react, right? And basically this will take a this is a generic type. So we have to pass a type here, type of tRPC react. Okay, for that we have to export the our route type. We have to go to our server routes and we have to export the type of route here. So we have to say here export type app router equal to type of app router. Okay, like this, and just save it. Okay, and then we go to our client and we have to import that. Actually here we have to import type app router from server routes, and have to keep it to use the app router here. And let's export this so we can use this outside this module. Yeah, then we have to create the query client instance. So export const query client equal to new query client. Then we will create the tRPC client. Okay, and export const tRPC client is tRPC dot create client. So you got the tRPC instance here, then create the client using that. Here you have to pass few configuration. So one will be the links, the important that we need that. So we have to pass the http batch link that we have imported here, and we have to pass the URL that we have configured, our server URL. So our URL is localhost 3000 tRPC. So http localhost 3000 slash tRPC, like this. Let's format our file. It looks very simple. So we imported the first imported batch link, then the React tRPC method, then query client. So we are kind of initializing all the tRPC configuration here. Then we will add this to our context, like global context. Okay, let's save and let's create our global context here. Let's create another directory called context, and maybe we can, instead of global context, you can say app context.tsx. Okay, so we'll export app context provider like this. Export const. Okay, I think let's not say context, it should be provider actually. Yeah, so app context provider. So in that we have to return tRPC that we have created now, and query client and tRPC client. Okay, and then we have to import query client provider from tanstack React query. This is it, and then we say tRPC dot provider. Okay, here you have to provide the client that we have created, our tRPC client. Okay, and the query client. Query client is query client that we have already. Nice. Then is have to provide our query client provider. You have to provide query client provider. In that we have to provide the client, query client. We will say children, all the, not children, will be lowercase. So here we will pass the children as the, let's remove this one. Okay, let's format this. We have to pass the prop type. Children is type of React node. Okay, extra comma, select all, control F. Okay, this sound looks good. Now we have created our tRPC configuration. We have created our context provider. Now let's add our app context provider. Let's say app context provider. It's not app context provider. I think we should say this. I'm a bit confused on the global provider. It's a global provider actually. It sounds better because we're not creating any app context. So it is good to say global provider. Yeah, sounds better. Now let's add our global provider and here. So we have already passed SB provider and we'll say global provider and we pass the note inside as the children, right? We can also actually you can move SB provider from here and we can pass it, move everything to the global provider. I think let's make that change. So let's move the SB provider. Let's remove from here. Just we say global provider, okay? And let's remove from here. And let's make it clean, okay? So just we'll say global provider and we'll pass the note here. So now global provider we will have SB provider and we say SB provider here. We can just simply add it and put it all inside like this. Nice. Okay, so all provider are actually here and we are just making the app very clean and we are passing note. Let's save this. Okay, and we'll just reload our application. There is no error. It is working as it is. Now let's make our first query. Okay, so which will fetch the list of nodes. So let's go to our node component and import tRPC. Okay, import tRPC from our client API tRPC. Yeah, and here we have to say node list. Okay, and say tRPC dot node list dot use query like this. Okay, and this will give us the response. It will make a query, so we can pass actually variables inside, but for now we're just fetching the list of nodes, so we don't have to pass anything. So let's console dot log node list dot data. Okay, so let's go and inspect. As you see, it is not, it is showing empty because there are no data nodes created. Okay, so let's create a node and see, like you should get the latest data here. So first let's use our postman to create insert a node. Okay, so we have our data, my first node. Let's run this and create a node. So we have created our node and let's fetch using the query, and we have successfully we are able to fetch the data here. Okay, then now let's the fetching list is working now. Let's make the changes for the other mutations. So here we have our use node hook, so which have three methods: create, update, and delete. Okay, and let's import tRPC also here. Import tRPC from our client. So let's create our mutations name. Not update, say tRPC dot. So first node create. Let's make it create dot use mutation. Node create mutation, and that I'll create a few more. Node update mutation tRPC dot node update dot is mutation. So basically we are just initializing, calling our hook, this hook mutation hook, and getting the mutation instance. Okay. For delete node delete mutation, sorry, tRPC dot node delete dot each mutation. Okay, so we have our all mutation ready here. So we don't have to say anything. Simply we have to use our mutation create mutation dot mutate. Okay, so this will take the node. Okay, like this. And similarly for the update, so node update mutation dot mutate. Okay, here it will take two things. One is ID, another is data, right? So because our node is having it is having ID and data together mixed, so let's actually make ID. So we have our data and just destructure, sorry, node uh, extract data. So we'll say remaining is data. So we get ID from node, and the remaining fields will be part of data. So simply we will pass ID and data like this. Why it is argument. Okay, we have to pass this as an object. Okay, yeah, done. Our update also ready. Finally we have to say delete. So node delete mutation dot mutate. Here we have to pass ID. ID will be node ID. Is it like this? Okay, yeah, so directly we are passing it as a string, so we are good. Let's save our hook. It is done. Now it's time to create some more node. Let's open our network DevTools, and we say my second node. Hello, this is my second node. Okay, just add. It is making made a request, and yeah, we see it is passing the uh, data. Fine, that is the response. It returned the data with ID. So now we got our two nodes. Okay, so we'll make next component as node list. Okay, so basically this will be like node list dot tsx. So export const node list. So here we will take actually nodes. Okay, and nodes will be, let's define our props. Nodes will be of inode, and it should be a list. And we return, here we have to map. Okay, nodes dot map, you can get node, and we have to return here node component. Let's import our node component, and we have to pass data as node. Okay, something like this. Yeah, we'll handle because we use when there is no nodes, we want to show a empty message. So if we check nodes dot length equals to 0, okay, then we return and sp empty state. So simply we can say title uh, no nodes found. Okay, and okay, the icon is missing. Okay, so let's get our icons. So here we'll be using Phosphor icons. Okay, Phosphor icons. Um, start it. Okay, yeah. So we have a package for React, Phosphor icons React. So save one Phosphor icons and React. Yeah, this time now we can import for icon. Icon. Nice. Let's go back and save. Okay, so we're not getting because we have already two nodes. That's why it is not visible. So let's save it, format and save. Yeah. So this will render our nodes. Start rendering. So before that, so because this is expecting a list of node, right? So let's one parent component, one node. So where we will be act as a container. So let's say node 4, okay, and .tss, okay, export const node 4, okay. So this will be our entry component actually. So what we will say, return, it should return two things. One will be node, right? Node list, node list. Here it is expecting nodes. And another. So now we will move our node into here. Basically, we don't keep here. We import node, node. So here we say node goal. Okay, let's clean it up. Now node board has node, and we have to get the nodes. So we have already node list tRPC node start is query. This one and node list will be node list dot read. Undefined. Okay. So let's make our uh, data as default data as empty list. Just keep it nodes. Okay. Save nodes. Let's do pass it as empty list. This is cool. Don't say this. We say nodes. Okay. And let's set our state. Use effect level use wait. This is only one nodes changes, right? Nodes changes. Nodes changes. See data changes. So you say set nodes. Check if data we set nodes. What it is saying? Okay, you have to let type. Good. Now we are good. And our node board is ready. Our app is ready. Let's remove. Actually, we added previously. Let's go to our node. We don't need any tRPC here. Right. Not making any query. Let's remove this. Yes, this button is here. Right. Okay. Let's save all our changes. Okay, and see. So we should see the nodes rendered at least now. Cool. Okay. So our two nodes are rendering. This is not looking good. So let's format this. Uh, so what we'll use, let's go to our UI kit. Okay. So we had a grid, right? We have used. So we'll use that grid. Okay. So we'll use a grid system and we'll render our node something like this. Okay. Simply like this. Return SP grid symbol. Uh, I don't need all first. If we say now this code will be here. Isn't it? Let's remove this. Okay. Format. Let's say minimal. Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Pass it. Okay. Mm, mm, okay. I think that is it. Let's save this. Okay. Let's go to board. So here we have the node and we'll add a wrapper here. Select it and we'll add some styles. Okay, here we will say let's give 500. Mm, let's go become the center. So bottom is 20. Yeah, let's format this. Right. Let's make this grid little bit better. So our this will be our default columns. So and we'll have a default breakpoint and column and then the breakpoints. Okay. So we'll say by default it will be one column one and spacing should be SM. Okay. Small. And define our breakpoints. So we will have instead of 1600, let's make 1500. this is fine. Only changes here. 1000. We make it slow. Remove this. So 800. Let's 600. We make 2, 6. Yeah, yeah. This looks better. Okay, now let's update our node component and the node actions. So basically, so we are using the same node component for create and view and edit. So let's add some more buttons like so it should be we should have a edit button. By default, it will be in the view mode, and when you click edit, it should change to edit mode, and then we'll have some delete button, other actions. Okay, let's make those changes. First, we'll define our. Okay, let's close all this. Define. Let's go to config. So we'll have a modes. Okay, so we'll export enum. Okay, import modes. One will be create. Then view, sorry, view and edit. Let's say this action mode. Okay, sorry, there is a equal symbol. Yeah. So looks like for now, let's skip that lint erasable. Let's comment it out for now. Okay, I don't think. Okay, you're good for now. And let's go to our components node. Okay, here. So we will node actions. So let's update the node actions here. So first of all, we will say the not value because this is currently only getting the color, right? We want to make it node. Okay, so it will be type of I node. It is a node, and we say node dot color. Then we want to add another prop. It's a mode, the action mode, type of action mode. Yeah. So we can make it default value as action mode dot view. Okay, on change, on cancel, disabled, on submit. So we don't need each edit actually. We don't need each edit because we have now moved. So we can say here instead of that each edit equal to mode equals to action mode dot edit. Okay, but we have to add another callback on edit. Okay, will be again a void function. Okay, so first of all, we are showing here two buttons, save and cancel. I mean save or add and cancel. So we want to show this only when user is trying to create or update, right? So we can say, so if mode equal to action mode dot, yeah, either you can say mode equal to action mode dot create or edit. Either we can say not equal to view, something like that. This is not a view, and we add this too. Let's move this. Okay, just like this. Okay, nice. Done. So something is wrong. Define color. Okay. Mm, mm, yeah. So those two are gone. Instead, what you can say, if else, you can show another button. Okay, we'll say edit. Okay, and we'll say on edit. We have added on edit. Okay, we haven't added here. Cancel on edit. Okay, so let's format this and let's go to our node component. So let's handle this. Okay, so first of all, let's make this node. We are not passing anything but the node. Okay, yeah, so let's make this as, let's keep it as I not, or else you can just say as, this should be solved. Okay, on edit is, we're not passing any edit here, so we say mode. Okay, action mode dot We don't need actually this one here, right? View on edit. So we have a mode, selected mode. No? Okay. Let's have a state here. Selected mode. Set selected. Else simply set mode. Use state. And by default we'll say we'll take a as default mode. Okay, we'll say default mode. Or else we say mode. Action mode. Set current mode. Okay, so we'll pass this as mode. Okay, on edit we have to set current mode as action mode dot edit. Okay, on cancel we have to, okay, so let's cut this. We'll have on cancel if I handle cancel. Okay, let's define our handle cancel. Okay, handle cancel, let's paste it. Okay, so you will check two things actually. One, for cancel will be a little bit different for the create, and then it will be different for edit. Okay, for create, so when if mode, you have to say mode equals to action mode dot create. Okay, so and user cancels it, we don't do anything, like only have to set that expand is false. Okay, and else what we do, we will set node as empty. Yeah, no, this was for, and for here we say set node. Okay, will default to data that we are getting here. Okay, whatever data, and we kind of reset actually here, and we said set current mode is mode, the default mode. Okay, let's save this. Okay, so here, no, this is coming. Yeah, we have to pass the mode for, let's go to our board. Here we have to pass mode action mode dot create. Done. still it is coming as edit current mode. We have to pass it. Okay, so for a cancel, it will simply expand and collapse. This is done, and this one. So yeah, and this content editable should be only when this is in edit mode. Okay, let's make that change. Content editable is true when it's, so basically this content editable should be only when this is create or update. So we can say action mode dot create, action mode dot edit includes mode. Okay. Fine. Now this should not be editable, right? And go to node list. Here you have to pass mode is missing. Can you make this mode as default? Action mode dot hue will make this as optional. Okay, and save it. So we have to do same thing for both title as well as the content. Okay, so basically we are not doing actually expand collapse for the view mode. So by default expand is false, right? So that is why it is not visible, right? And because this is not in the edit mode, this is not clickable like this. So you're not showing anything. Okay, so what you say instead of false, what you say is to return dynamically. So we had the, let's reuse this code actually. We say is create or edit. Okay, const is create or edit. Okay, and we have to just say not. Okay, because we don't, we want to show the default expanded when it is in the edit view mode. The remaining it should be always like this, and only it should be default expanded. We don't want to expand collapse for this view mode. We just want to say switch. Okay. Yeah, actually we did a mistake here. So we are taking the mode from the default value, but we should use the current mode actually, not the default mode. So Now we use the current mode and we should see this is as editable now. Okay, and we cancel. This is not editable now. Okay, and we have to update this one also for the content, right? So we say easy create or edit. Okay, same thing. So we can click and change the content node and save. We save triggering. Looks like yes. And these are payload. We're sending ID and the updated data. This got changed. And you once you click save, automatically it should again go back to the edit mode. Okay, so let's go to on submit. Okay, so just we have to see the same thing that we're doing for cancel. So you should say on submit here. I have to reset the current default mode. Okay, and save it. Now when we try to edit times nodes, my second nodes, and save, update is triggered here and we are going back to edit mode. Cool. And this color button we see, right, that this also should be visible only in the edit or create mode, but this is now view mode. You have to hide this color button, so we have to, or else we can say same thing here, view. This is gone. Now let's add some more actions here. So, and we want to show this only for view mode actually. So we say mode equals to action mode dot view. Okay. So first action, it will be list of actions. So let's put it in a group, and so we say SB. First will be select. First will be a select checkbox. So we can select the node. SB select. Sorry, it's not a select actually. It should be a SB checkbox. SB checkbox, and we have to on change. So we have to handle this. Okay, we'll do it. Then checked will be, we'll add this state. Okay, then it will be, then we'll add a toggle button. It will be a toggle button like favorite note. Okay, so the toggle button will say here you can pass two icons actually. One is selected icon. So basically it will take two icons. One is selected icon, one is non-selected icon. Okay, so you have to pass two icons. Okay, here like this we'll do it. So next we will be adding one more toggle button for pinning the note. Okay. Then we will add a SB button. Okay. So we will add this. Now we have to pass the icon here. So this will be edit. We'll move this edit button to the here left side as an icon. Okay. So next we will make delete. Okay. SB button, it will be delete. So let's find the icons. The first four icons, explore. Let's find the first favorite, right? Star icon. Okay, we need this one. Okay, I think we can say star icon, and this should be here, but we want to be filled, right? Regular fill. So we should say weight as fill. Selected weight as fill. Okay. Then you have to say pin. You can say push pin and weight will fill. Okay. Then I will say push pin. Let's import push pin icon. We say. Hmm? Okay. Done. And now we will do regular edit. Shall take just pencil icon. We will say edit pencil icon. Okay, and delete. We have anything? Delete trash icon. Okay, we set trash icon. Okay, I think we are good. Only thing is clean up our imports. Control all format. Let's go here and save. Okay. First thing, we don't want this to be primary icons. So let's change the variant here. Variant secondary ghost. Yeah. And similar for this one. Okay. And save. Now on edit we have to switch. Now let's remove this icon, this the scope. On click we have to take remove this, on click of edit. Okay, it's gone. Edit, cancel. Good. Yes, cancel. It's working fine. Okay, now let's implement the delete action here. Okay, so it's a on delete will be a function. Let's keep it void for now. And here we say on delete. Okay, and let's bind this to our delete button. So it will be on click on delete. Okay, and here and on delete should be optional prop, because for create we don't have to pass it, like just like on edit. Okay, and then let's go here, and so here we say on delete, and I'll say handle delete. Okay, let's copy this, handle delete. So we have already defined our delete um uh, delete operation in the API. If you go to node tRPC, so we have a delete mutation already defined, so we can just import it, get it, delete node, non delete, you can say delete node, and it is expecting, I think, ID, so we say node dot ID. Okay, so if node dot ID, then delete node. Correct. Okay, let's save all. Cool. Now let's try to delete a node. If you click delete, delete request is sent. Answer is reload. Yeah, the second node is deleted now. But this is like not a good approach. Basically, on delete, you should say so kind of a confirmation to the user. Then you should delete. So let's add a confirmation dialog here. Let's add another component. Components, then add another confirm. Add a confirm component. Okay. So for this one, we'll use dialogues here actually. So let's go. It's a dialogue. Um, okay. Yeah. Something kind of. Okay. Let's import here. So let's say first confirm. Okay, so you have to first thing, so you have to import is sv dialog. Import sv dialog, then sv dialog title. Okay, sv dialog content. Okay, and sv dialog actions. Okay, so let's source code. Let's copy the one for warning. I think all are same. You can just copy and paste. Okay, so let's take the your params open and on confirm. So we'll have two actions, on confirm and on cancel. On cancel. Okay, then we'll take I think for now let's keep this. So on open variant, we don't need to pass it dynamically. So our variant will be warning because we're trying to warn the user. Okay, on close will be on cancel. Okay, similarly variant will be warning, and we want to make it delete confirmation. Okay, so here you want to say, are you sure you want to delete this action cannot be done. Okay, something like this. So variant, let's keep as warning. Oh no, so variant, this is button variant. So let's import this button actually. Import variant will be secondary ghost. Okay, on click, on confirm. Okay, now this will be confirm and cancel. Confirm and on cancel. Okay, now so let's say we want to say delete and the name of the item. So let's use here the name That will be more clear to the user. So let's make it a bold name. So it's a item name. So here we will be passing the node title. So to just to make clear, do you want to give something? Suppose there is nothing passed. So this item, okay. Let's define the props here. Interface from props open is type boolean. On confirm is type void. On cancel similar void. And item name will be string. Okay, let's make this optional. It's fine. And let's use that confirm my mistake. Okay, confirm. Let's export this. Why I'm not exporting this? Okay, this looks good, right? Yeah, let's save it. Okay, so now let's go to our node component and use that. Now instead node, let's add the node actions. Better we'll have control. So we just have to trigger the on delete after the on confirm. Like once we confirm, remaining all the actions will be let's keep as it is. Let's not change the node component. So here will be our action bar and let's put it. And let's add here confirm. Let's import. So we have to pass open, then on cancel and on confirm. Okay, like this. And we say suppose we are using here on is delete open. So let's define the state actually first. Okay, so let's say constant is delete open set is delete open, else use state. Okay, like this. By default it will be false. Let's keep by default as false. Or set delete open, and we want to render this only when this is open. Okay, like this. Sorry, and let's cut this. Paste it. Okay, on cancel. So this will be a callback. We want to set is delete open as false. Okay, and in on confirm, so you have to actually on delete. Okay, I think we can skip this optional as optional props. I think this would be fine because you're passing it from node, right? So this will only trigger when you're showing the delete button. Yeah, so now this looks better, and we have to change our delete button action actually. So for now, like we are saying on click on delete, instead we have to set is delete open as true. Okay, just format this. Okay, and save it. Okay, now let's go to our page, clear all. So now when I click, it should, yeah, it should show the confirmation. If I cancel this, nothing should happen. It should be as it is. But when I confirm, see, it is saying, are you sure you want to delete this item? So instead, let's pass the title here. So item name, let's note dot title. Cool. And should say, it is saying that, are you sure you want to delete my first note? The title of the note that we're trying to delete. This is looking better. And if you confirm, then you should simply delete the note. Yeah, it is the note is deleted, but we have to hide the confirmation, right? Okay, yes. So let's do that. So on confirm, basically we can take this to return. We say on delete. Okay, and we also say false. After the delete is done, we will hide that. Okay, I think this is deleted. Yeah, let's add some few nodes. My new node, this is my, okay, let's add it. As you see, like once I add, it is not reflecting here, so we'll come to that. So we will add, basically we'll add a subscription that tRPC provides. We'll add a tRPC subscription, so as soon as we make any changes, the UI will automatically refresh and refresh the view. So now if I try to delete, it will delete and close. Cool. Now this is done. Okay. So we have the all the CRUD routes here. Let's add our subscription route. Okay. So we'll say node subscription. Okay. And say public procedure dot subscription. Okay. Just like this. And here we have to provide a, so we can refer the subscription documentation here. You go tRPC server, tRPC backend usage, and go to subscriptions. Then here they have provided some examples, so we can exactly I think we can copy this whole thing. Okay, and let's remove these comments. Okay, you say I not. Okay, and this is the event emitter, so let's import our event emitter. Okay, so import event emitter from events. Okay, and we say cons ee equals new event emitter. Okay, cool, and also on. Okay, so this is done. So we will change our code here. So we don't say it add, but we will say event. Okay, now our subscription is ready. Then we say it, suppose here the data is coming directly, but what we'll do, our data will look something like a action and the data, not a directly data. So it will be, this is fine. So directly I want to yield the action. I think we don't need this too. Okay, let's save it. Okay, so we have defined our node subscription route. So here it will be like uh, emitting the data, but before that we have to raise our events from each of the operations like create, update, and delete. This will be a listener for all those events. It will finally yield the same event. So for that, let's define another uh, mutation actions. Let's define a constant and then define our say low node mutations. Mutation actions. Okay, so you'll export enum again, node mutation or new mutation types. This will be first create. Okay, let's create, then we'll update, then delete. Okay, so this will be our three actions that will emit for the subscription. Okay, and let's go to our routes, and here in the node create we have to emit the event. So we say event emitter dot emit, here we'll emit a event. Okay, so we say our event is event. Okay, and we say action. Okay, so we will node mutation type dot create. Okay, and our data will be new node like this. let's say not mutation type update here. Okay, not mutation type dot create, and similar thing we will do for our update. So let's go to update mutation, and here we keep our update and say to update updated note and change to update. Okay, and for delete we say delete. Okay, and data we will simply say id. We'll return only id. Okay, fine, done. So our event emitter is ready. Okay, let's save it. There is an error. Okay, it says is not found. I think I have to restart the. Not sure what is the issue. Are you not exporting? Yes, not mutation type. It is working. So I can navigate from here. It says cannot find module. So we have actually added our path aliases here in the tsconfig app.json, but looks like the Bun environment is not reading this configuration. So what we have to do, we have to go to the tsconfig .json. So here you see already we are referencing, but this is seems it is not uh, taking the reference value from here. So we have to explicitly let's add this. So we have to say compiler options, then you have to go to paths. Okay, I have to add that here. This is star. We have to src star, right? Yeah, save it, and then let's restart our server. Yeah, now we see there is no error and it should be fine. So we were at the routes, and then we did we did our node subscription ready. We are emitting the events from each of the actions, and then yeah, I think our server is ready. Let's connect this code to the client. So first we go to the client, then API. So you have to configure our tRPC, right? So here you're not using any subscription endpoint. So we have to import. So instead of let's comment this. So we'll define links. Okay, we'll say split link, actually split link. Okay, and it will take a configuration. So we can say a condition based, because we have both subscription and the normal endpoints, right? So we can have a condition here. It should be look like something. It will take a function dot type equal to subscription. Okay, the operation type is subscription. If it is true, okay, so we will use WS link. Okay, so we'll use WebSocket link, and there will pass client. So client will be WS protocol, then localhost 3000 slash tRPC, like this. Okay, and then if it is false, then we'll use HTTP bash link URL. I think we can just copy this one and paste it here, like this. Oh, we have put it outside. This one should be false. Client, oh, a client, it will be URL again. No, you have to say create WS client. Okay, that URL, like this. Yeah, so what you are doing, you are actually just splitting the link here. So you are adding a condition here. So it is a subscription type. Then we were creating a WS link. If it is not subscription, then it is just a batch HTTP link you're creating. Let's remove our old one and save it. Done. Next we'll go to our component. So we have our state here. We will add one more. Say tRPC dot node subscription dot use subscription. Okay, in this we will take on callback on data. Okay, so data, you have to pass here undefined. So first let's print the data. Okay, let's try to see what it is, what data is coming. Okay, yeah, saved. Let's try to create something here. Test, we say, and test. Okay, add, and we see our subscription data is coming here. Okay, so let's write our logic handler. Okay, so we say switch, we'll do a switch statement. we say if it's a e dot action. Okay, we have case. Let's import the not mutation type. Okay, dot create. If it is a create type, so what we'll do, we get this data. So simply we have to push to the nodes. So we say set nodes. Okay, and to the previous state, and we append previous and say e dot data. Sorry, it should be array, right? Not the object. Yeah, like this. Okay, then we break. We have to break. Okay, then another case will be not mutation type dot update. If it is update type, then we say set nodes previous dot map. Okay, node dot id equal to e dot data dot id, then e dot data, or else not. Let's just format this to understand what we did. So basically we are mapping the existing nodes, and we are checking if the current data.id that we are receiving is equals to node.id. Then we are simply replacing with the node.data, or else the node. Break. Then the delete case node mutation type dot delete. Okay, this will be simple, like we have to filter the nodes. Okay, it is the previous state and dot filter is a node dot id not equals to e dot data dot id. Okay, this will filter the data. Finally, if this there is any default case, we simply console dot log invalid action. Okay, done. I think our client also ready. Let's verify again. So we'll add something test2. See, immediately I added, this is inserted here. Okay, now I try to update. Let's test2 updated. Got. So we can check our tRPC subscriptions here. It is getting all the create update. Now I delete. You should get a delete event here. See, immediately it got a delete event and the node got deleted here. Nice. Okay, now let's the last thing I think remaining, we have to add the colors. So we have to also bind this color. So when we just select a color, we have to So the same color for the node. So you can edit this particular node and see how we can add the color to that node. First, let's try to, I think we have set a color. Let's say we save the green, okay, and save it, okay. Now, let's add a class, right? So we have a class style.node. So what we'll do, we will pass that color dynamically. We say node dot color, okay, and we get that in the class. Fine. So here we will say it will take a function here. It's a color which is type string, okay, and we say background color. If it is defined, then we use, no, I think we have already defined right here below. Let's use that same color or else white color. There is a error, it seems. Make it optional. Save it. Now our color is applying. So whatever color now we select, this will apply to this card. We select orange. and Save and reload. We should persist that. And this will not persist. This should change. So immediately when you select a color, you will see the preview of that. As you see, if you select this color, it will go back to the original view. Okay, let's skip this and save. Okay, there is one challenge here. So if you go and select, so you will select something the deeper color. For lighter colors, it is fine, but if you select deeper colors, let's say it will the text is not looking good, right? It is. So what we will do, we will change the text color if there is a color selected. Okay, let's make the change. So if there is a color set, so we will change the text color. Okay, so if you say color exist, so we use theme dot colors dot base light. Okay, if not, we will inherit the color. Okay, let's save it. Yeah, so this got changed, but this two things are not getting changed. So we say and we select the button inside. Okay, apply, same thing. So we say color. Okay, nice. Choose something. Yes, for this one it is. I think let's make this also white if there is a color selected. Yeah, note input, right? Yeah. say node input, then you say node color, and here also node color. Okay, and we say here we'll take as a function, and we say color string. So take this condition, paste it, but we will not be using, sorry, we will not be using the inherit one, but we'll use the color we have defined. The condition will be something like this: if it is color, then base light, or else it will be default to secondary 60. Okay, let's try now. If we change, cool,